Yes, boys. All right, Lou.
Yeah, mate.
Mate.
That's about it.
Oh, boys, week 4. Who would have thought it, man?
I know, it's flying.
I know, we're doing well. Week 4.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. What we got today, Lou?
Just water, mate. I've actually, the only thing I've got is this gin, and there's not that much left of it.
Oh, is it still the same as last week?
Gin.
Yeah. Yeah, the gauze, yeah.
How is it,
Yeah.
mate? Is it all right?
You've been drinking a bit.
It's actually not.
Wait, when have you been drinking it? Because you only done a little bit last week.
Obviously, we just go online, and there's nothing else to do, like when we go on Xbox and stuff, so we just get drunk.
All right.
Oh, God. Jesus.
Fair play.
Told you, innit?
Yeah, yeah, sorry. I won't ask any more questions tonight.
Oh, look, boys, we're back. Episode 4, Dean Hammond. I've been looking forward to this. I've got some good questions lined up for him, and I've asked if I'll put it on the Instagram if any of our listeners want to ask any questions. And we had a few put in, to be fair. Some we've already written down, but others, we can chuck in there and see what he says. So it should be a good one today. We've had some good feedback as well, boys. People enjoying, people listening, enjoying it.
Yeah, I've had a lot of people ask me about who put it in the water bottle. That's been a big question this week. But
one thing before we carry on with that, I had a few messages about your Turkey headphones and why you didn't wear them. For the last
right, okay, yeah.
But I didn't want to say much.
It's really, really knocked my confidence. I love them headphones. I absolutely love them, and they're in like the corner of my room. And I'm thinking, should I go for it again? But I can't go for it again.
Wait, whack them on. See if they still work first.
No, they don't work. That's the thing. They're just like I just put them on to feel confident. No, I'm happy with these tonight. Maybe they'll make a return. I don't know. But
you got no headphones today, Luke?
Yeah, mine are dead. I'll put them on charge, but they are dead.
See how big time he is. Starts grilling me about my Turkey headphones, and he's got his AirPods. Yeah.
You had one job, Lou. That's it, mate. One job all week as well. Do you know what I mean? We give you enough notice. It's not like in the middle of the week. Yeah. Just charge your headphones. See, if you had the Turkey ones, they don't need charging, Lou.
They don't.
They've been through wars, them things.
They have.
Oh, right, boys. The wheel spin went well last week. People enjoy that and they see it. So, Lou, if you've got it, we'll spin it quickly. We'll have a little swig.
I put our names on different colours. Because every other colour, but there's red ones.
Well done, clever.
All right.
All right, let's give it a go then, Beige. Oh, his spins are getting better, aren't they, Joey?
Yeah, they are. He's been practicing.
Oh, so you should have left it on red, mate. Should have left it on red.
What is that?
Closest to you. I reckon you should do it.
To be fair, you haven't done one yet.
Yeah, you haven't done one.
I haven't, to be fair. I've got.
Don't give it an Adam Alab to not do it.
All right, cheers, boys.
Anyone that doesn't do it now is an Adam Alab, I think. Cheers, boys. I've gone for the old Bud Light, just so Beige feels at home.
Yeah, love it, mate. Is he necking Guinness? But
yeah, necked it.
Oh, the best drink, boys.
Oh, he's gone.
Not another call up, is it?
Peace saving this time.
Right, boys. He is in. He's waiting to.
Cool.
Oh, wow, Guinness has done me, boys. I'm not gonna lie. I can't ask the first question. Right, boys. He's in. We'll bring him in. I know
slurring a bit.
Yeah, I am a little bit. Should we give it a minute? We'll start episode 4.
Love it.
Here he is.
Hello, guys.
Hello. Mate. How are you?
Right, I'm good, thanks.
Good. Nice to get you on, Dean. Thanks for doing this, mate.
No problem.
Thanks for being on.
Yeah, all good. We all
Appreciate
safe and well?
All good, mate. Plodding through. We're getting through as best as we can. But yeah, doing well. What about yourself?
Yeah, same mate. Plodding through. Homeschooling's a bit challenging with the 3 kids, but yeah, we get on with it as you do. But no, all good, mate. All the family's healthy, so that's all it matters. Yeah,
that's good, mate. That's good. How's business?
All right, mate. Different. I'm not at the moment. I'm not really doing the one-to-one coaching, just because obviously the 3 kids and that, and I don't really want to be around other people at the moment as much as I can. So try to just stay away with it. And the weather's crap anyway. So what about you guys?
Yeah, it's not bad, mate. We do a lot of online stuff, which is good. Keeps a lot of the kids engaged. It's quite hard at the minute to do the online stuff because they're on the computer all day with the schoolwork. It's hard to try and get them on again, sort of at this sort of time at night. You know what I mean? The screen time is probably too much as it is. So the online stuff is fine. The outside one-to-ones is trickling. It's getting there. But it is what it is, isn't it?
Yeah, it is what it is, mate. I think that's the biggest sign in lockdown. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Dean, I don't know if you've met the boys. Obviously, we've got Joey at the top there.
Hi, mate.
Nice to meet you.
We've got Lou at the bottom, or Louis. These boys do have nicknames, mate. We put it on every podcast.
Right,
so far, just a bit of pressure for you. So far, everybody has guessed Joey's nickname without me having to show a picture.
Oh, mate, I've got no idea. I don't know, Johnny Depp, something like that.
Oh, I'll take that.
No.
I'm being nice,
We're going to be mates, I think.
So we got beige at the bottom for Lou.
Yeah.
Long story short, mate, his boots are horrific,
Okay.
and they ended up turning beige out of nowhere. So, and as you can see, you'll get a lot out of him today. And we've got Marv. The Joey is Marv. I'm not sure if you can guess why. I mean, he's got a hat on today, so he's giving it away a bit.
Go on, tell me.
I'll show you, Dean. Hold on, mate.
Again. How many times are you going to get this picture out? Every week.
It's bang on the money. You see that, Dean?
Oh, there we go. Home Alone. Love it. Love it.
I'm taking Johnny Depp from now on. I'll be on as a pirate next week.
Oh, well, okay, we'll get started. Dean, I sent you some questions in the week. Us boys will go through them and ask you, and obviously just get your opinions and stuff. I'll kick it off, mate.
Yeah.
I've got here, favourite game you've played in. Now, this can obviously be throughout your whole career, maybe towards the later stages, the early stages, youth stage. Whatever it is, your favourite game that you've played in.
Oh, it's a tough one, I must admit, mate. It's two. I don't know if I can pick between them, to be honest. So there was when I was at Brighton as a youngster, I come into the team. We're in the Championship. We were struggling in the Championship, and we played West Ham at home. And I was kind of in and out at the time. I was playing left wing, which obviously I've never been a left winger in my life. And I ended up scoring 2 goals, 2 headers, 2 coming across from the far post into the centre of the goal, and drawing 2-2. So that's a favourite of mine because West Ham were a strong team, really were, and we weren't the best at the time. And it just kind of gave me the platform. First time I really got noticed. And the first time I really felt like a professional footballer, I'd say. So always, that's a good memory from me. But another one, probably the 5-3 win over Manchester United when I was playing for Leicester. That stands out because obviously beating United 5-3 in the Premier League is always special. But the team they had out on the day, and it wasn't like an FA Cup game, it was actually a Premier League game. So, and we were beaten twice. We were 2-0 down, 3-1 down, come back to make it 3-0, and then to go on to win 5-3 was pretty special. So, and I always remember the atmosphere. The atmosphere was electric. So yeah, that. But I'm doing a disservice to so many other games in my career, I must admit. But that one sticks out, I think, as a really good memory.
Was that at Old Trafford?
No, it was at Leicester. So it was like a Super Sunday. United were flying at the time. Like Di Maria, Falcao, Van Persie, Rooney was playing, Herrera. I'm trying to think who else played. Raphael right back, De Gea in goal. I mean, the first 20 minutes, I thought it could have been 8-0, to be honest.
Yeah.
They absolutely smashed us. But then for somewhere like that, pretty story of our season, really, we just never gave up. got a goal back. We got awarded a iffy penalty, I'd say, probably to get us back in the game at 3-2. But yeah, brilliant game. Really, really was. Fantastic game.
In previous podcast, Dean, the boys in here said that they thought Wayne Rooney was the best player to ever grace the Prem.
Right.
How good was he when you played against him?
Yeah, I mean, that's a tough call. I mean, there's been a lot of good players in the Premier League, but yeah, he was special, really special. Not just because of the way he played, his mentality as well. He was a winner. But yeah, I mean, his balance, his vision was the thing. He just saw things before the ball was coming. Physically, obviously strong, physically quick, but he played the game just ahead of everyone else. It all felt like he was a step ahead of you. But yeah, he was. I remember when in that game in particular, we equalised to make it 3-3, and he went crazy. Like at his teammates, he was captain of the day. He went mental, proper slating them, and you could just see the passion in him. But yeah, special player. Played against him probably 3 or 4 times, and yeah, very, very good. Don't know if he's the best to grace the Premier League.
Who would you say, Dean?
Wow. Henry's got to be up there, isn't he? I mean, Thierry Henry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ronaldo, obviously. But I mean, I loved him. There's so many players I loved as midfield players, like Paul Scholes. Just so underrated. Just one of the best players ever. Not let alone the Premier League. I love Steven Gerrard. Steven Gerrard was unbelievable. I played against him twice. Later towards the end of his career, so he wasn't at his best. But yeah, he was frightening.
Yeah.
Good. I think I said Gerrard, didn't I, boys? But
yeah, all right, Harry.
He does blatantly. Okay, moving on. I've got here worst trainer. Now, these are sort of questions me and the lads love to ask. You kind of can throw your teammates under the bus here.
Do it.
Just exactly what you want.
You know what? Like, I was thinking about this question, thinking, who is the worst trainer? And I've played in a lot of teams with like really, really good players, and successful teams. The training's so important. So there was never like taking training lightly. It was always like training was harder than the games. The games at the weekends were the easy bit. You go out and play. And I was playing, so when the Southampton teams, the Leicester teams, I was playing against better players in training than you were on a match day. So it was easier on a match day than it was in training. So I was thinking about thinking, who's the worst trainer I train with? And no one stands out except for there was a goalkeeper at Southampton called Tommy Forecaster, who wasn't a bad goalkeeper. He just knew he was a little bit out of his depth, and he just got slated every day. If he was on your team for an 8-a-side, you were, for God's sake, right? Okay.
Yeah. Is he still playing today?
No, he's not playing anymore. No, he came from Tottenham to Southampton. He never played a game for the first team. He trained. He was like a training goalkeeper, really, but he just wasn't bothered. And he just, like a goalkeeper, like dives after the ball had gone in the net. It was like that. He was never trying to save anything. One of the funniest blokes you'll ever meet in your life, though. Hilarious. He was great for the dressing room. He really, really was. But as a trainer, yeah, you wouldn't want him on your side.
Oh, that's guttering, because we were going to have him on next week as well.
I bet it was.
We haven't had a keeper yet.
We ain't. To be fair, there's always that thing around goalies.
Who have you had then? Tell me some worst trainers that you've had. People have said.
We tried to get it out of Adam Malab last week, but it took an absolute age. To be fair, he was just, he just weren't having it. So
who did he say? He said Craig. He said Dale Smith, didn't he?
Yeah, and then Bradley Dack.
To be fair, yeah, I played with Macca. Macca's not the best trainer in the world.
Okay.
Yeah, he's probably up there. He's not the best, just because he's just a game day player. I tell you.
Yeah, he said that as well, to be fair.
As well. Steve, do you remember Steve Claridge?
He's played for like 50 clubs, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was decent. Like, had a great career. good on a match day. Training, not interested. Not interested.
Really?
Baggy tracksuit, wasn't bothered. Just like, just get me through it. Couldn't be.
Yeah.
That's what he was like, And then on a match day, he'd turn up muddy boots, like small shin
Like
pads. Small shin pads before small shin pads were like the fashion. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, socks rolled down, and then just have a brilliant game on a Saturday. But training, he was just like, not asked.
How does that sit with a gaffer, Dean, with players like that?
If they do it on a Saturday, you're fine. If they perform on a Saturday, you can. The modern day football's different. When I first turned out, a manager would be like, if he's playing well on a Saturday, let him do what he wants. I've had players that don't train. I've had players that train. You used to call them like Man Friday. So they train on a Friday. And that was it.
Yeah.
Like they come in and they'd be sitting in the medical room having massages, hot baths, 2 days off. Come Friday, do an 8-a-side play on the Saturday. Wouldn't see them for 3 days. But they'd be brilliant on the Saturday.
Yeah.
It used to happen in the old days. Nowadays, it doesn't, because it's all with the sports science. The distance is covered. There's a lot more scientific proof behind it, and you can't get away with it. But some players just don't enjoy training. I used to love training. Loved it. Absolutely loved it. But, it's the manager would let it go if you're performing on a Saturday. It was all right.
Yeah.
Some players took advantage on that. If you scored 2 goals on a Saturday, you probably wouldn't see him till a Thursday. So.
When you scored them 2 headers, did you train the next day or did you give it 3 days?
I think I got pissed on the Saturday night. No, I was always one for training. I used to love it. That was the best bit.
Yeah.
That brings me quite nicely to the next question, Dean. Biggest difference between the Championship and the Premier League? Now, training could be one of those things. But yeah, in your opinion, biggest difference?
The top end of the pitch, the creative players is a difference. That is just complete difference. The top players in the Premier League that, create chances, find that that ball through like the eye of a needle. Do you know when the pass isn't even there, or you don't see it, or just that rapid pace? That you get some players that are quick, but you get players that are rapid. Like you see Jamie Vardy. Jamie Vardy's rapid. And what's his name? Traore for Wolves. I mean, scary. Quick.
Unplayable at times, isn't it? Really?
Yeah. If he was, to be honest, if he had half a brain, he'd be unbelievable. But he doesn't need to be technically good because of his pace and his power, which is kind of a little bit of a disadvantage for him. That if he had to learn and study the game, he'd become an even better player. But the top end of the pitch, you look at you see some players in the Championship that are really, really good goal scorers. They come to the Premier League and they don't get as many chances. The top players, say Aguero, say Rooney in his day, Henry, they'd need 1 chance, and that was it. They'd score. Where in the Championship, you might get 2 or 3, and then you could score, and that's the difference. It really is. The players at the top end, they move that ball a little bit quicker. They're technically a little bit more aware. Their body position is brilliant. And the best player I ever played against who was like that was Ozil. He was like the Matrix, honestly. Like he slowed everyone else down.
Yeah.
You could just see everything else. You just couldn't get near him. He'd do it 1 touch, 2 touch, kind of try and suck you in, and then he'd explode away from you. You'd think, Christ, what's happened there? Don't even know what's happened. And the top end of the pitch is the difference.
It's a good question, actually, because we've had players which not necessarily have played in the Prem like that, so they give their opinions of non-league and etc. Championship and league football. So it's good to know that top end of the pitch is only the slight difference, but it's so significant.
Yeah,
it's huge, and that's why they get paid the big money.
Yeah,
no, the hardest thing in football is to score a goal. So the players, the creative players, and they're exciting players as well. We all love to watch them. They're just brilliant to watch. They're technically so good. And if you can get an attacking midfield player and a striker and they've got a partnership together, it's frightening because they've just got like natural movement. They know where each other are. They build sort of a relationship where they know they're going to make a certain run into a certain area. You can play a ball blind without looking because a player is going to run in there. When you get a player, like you look at Jamie Vardy, you look at James Maddison, the way they play together. You look at Stuart Armstrong and Danny Ings at Southampton. You look at the bigger teams. You look at trying to think who else there is that I've watched lately.
Do you know what I've noticed recently with that number 10 and a striker? It's not so popular anymore. Like, you look back when maybe Lampard played a little bit higher and Drogba in front, and then you had Gerrard and Torres. But you mentioned like Vardy and Maddison then, like that, and maybe Grealish and Ollie Watkins. But that kind of 10 role and a number 9, I don't think it's as popular anymore. And I think it's such a good partnership once, you know, you get it right. Once you've got that creative player, and like you say, Vardy running between, you know, fullbacks and centre halves. I mean, it must be, you know, once it comes off and it's something that the team's like doing, it's such a...
Yeah, it's so difficult to defend against, especially if you've got a striker that likes to run in behind. So the defence is going to drop a little bit deeper because they're going to be scared of the movement in behind, which then for James Maddison gives him more space on the ball. Yeah. They close the space up for James Maddison and try and make the gap between the midfield players and the defence smaller. There's a space for Jamie to run in behind. And then you've got a Harvey Barnes who can dribble with the ball, run in behind. So, you know, it's difficult. But what you get now, Southampton do it brilliant. So Southampton kind of play a 4-4-2. But because the fullbacks are so attacking, they're the wingers. Yeah. The 2 wide players become 2 number 10s, which makes it even harder.
Yeah, tuck right in, don't they? Yeah.
You've got 2 number 10s then. You come in narrow. So if you get it right, it can really, really work, especially if the relationship of the number 10 and, like you say, the number 9 have got a relationship, because you can play balls blind. The ball comes into you can just play it around the corner the first time without even having to look.
Yeah. Love it. Beige, your questions?
First one I've got is who has been your craziest teammate?
Christ, where do I start?
This could be for nights out or in the dressing room, things like that.
I mean, I've played with some, obviously when I started out, when I was young, football was different. So there was some real characters in the game. I mean, Charlie Oakway at Brighton was pretty crazy, to be honest.
Yeah.
You had to be on your toes around.
Were you there with Chippy as well?
Yeah, I was there with Chippy. So Chippy, Charlie, Danny Cullett.
Yeah, what a bunch.
Oh, mate, do you know what? They were very good. They taught you some real life lessons.
Yeah.
They did. Tough group, really were. But they would accept you into the group if, you know, you were respectful, if you were disciplined. You had to take a bit of abuse now and again, but that was part and parcel of it. You know, just get a bit of fun at yourself. If you can laugh at yourself, you're okay.
Yeah,
that's not just football. That's life. I think you need to be able to laugh yourself. Don't take yourself too seriously.
Yeah,
but, Charlie was a bit crazy. Paul Watton at Southampton, mental, absolute, but brilliant in a brilliant way. Like never too far. You know, just far enough, but it was hilarious.
Yeah.
Danny Butterfield at Southampton again, funniest guy I've ever met in football. Just so funny in the dressing room. You need players like that, because when you're losing games or the form's not so good, you're just sitting in the dressing room. There's 22 lads just pissing themselves. It's brilliant. And then Jamie Vardy's a nutcase as well. I mean, he's calmed down a little bit now, but again in a good way. They're all in. It's all fun. It's never taken too far where it gets out of control. But yeah, a few of them have done some interesting things, which have been good.
Dean, with Jamie Vardy, obviously you see it all the time about his pre-match sort of routine or whatever, with 4 or 5 Red Bulls or whatever it was. Is that actually true?
Yeah. He used to drink a lot of Red Bull. Yeah. I think the first time he went to England, they actually pulled him up on it and said, "Look, you need to stop drinking so many Red Bulls." And he's like, "Why? I'm scoring 30 goals for England.
Yeah.
What am I doing wrong?" So he's just a one-off. He's unique, Jamie. He's just very, very different. He just lives his life how he wants to live it, and it works for him. And I think there's a big lesson for a lot of us there in the fact that if you're happy, you're going to play better. But yeah, he used to drink a lot of Red Bull. eat different things as well. But he was just Jamie. Jamie's just he's a great guy, honestly. One of the best people you'll meet, really is. He's ferocious when he's on the pitch. He's aggressive and he's a winner. But off the pitch, funny. Have to be on your toes. He's like a little kid. He's always up to something, but he'll do anything for you. He really will. So he's a nice family guy. But he's funny. Really, really funny.
Yeah, I can imagine. To be fair,
he's a bundle of energy. You just can't. Anything's going on, it's going through him.
Do you think he should still be playing for England? Do you think he could still do a job?
Oh, he could definitely do a job, 100%. Yeah. But I think he just got to the point where, was he 34 now? Jamie's got 5 kids, I think. I think he just had enough of not getting opportunities, going away.
Yeah.
Southgate's always going to play Harry Kane. He's his captain.
Yeah.
Harry Kane's a brilliant player, don't get me wrong. They're very, very different. But I think during some of the spells, Jamie's been in better form than Harry. And should have maybe got a nod in front of him. But that's what the manager's there for. He's chose his captain. You've got to play your captain. If Harry Kane's captain, he's going to play. So could he still play for England? Yeah. Would you like him to? 100%. But I just think he thought, I'm doing all this travelling for what? To go and train?
Yeah. No, that's fair enough.
Next one I've got is, who is the best manager you've played under?
Well, are you talking manager or coach?
I'm confused, Beige.
Yeah, poor kid. God.
And when he means coach, he doesn't mean like the bus or anything like that.
We'll say coach, like tactical wise.
Tactical wise, I'd probably say Gus Poyet was really, really good tactically wise. Dean Wilkins was good as well as coaches, knew so much about the game, gave you so much information, but information that was clear, so you understood it. It wasn't just loads of drawings and loads of diagrams and loads of videos, and you're thinking, I don't really know what you want me to do here. It was really, really clear. I mean, Gus on the training pitch was brilliant. The way he wanted us to play at Brighton was very, very simple movements, but it was very fluent between other players. So if you move, someone else moves, they move into a different area. So defending it is very, very difficult because you can't keep your eye on everyone. You've obviously got to look at the ball occasionally. You've got to look at your opponent and the timing of the movement he worked on as well. So the way we used to play out of the back, especially at the Amex, the pitch is massive there. Probably one of the biggest pitches in the league. We should just play teams off the park. So we used to work on that in training a lot. And training was fun, but it was always based around who you're going to play against at the weekend and how you were going to play. But Dean Wilkins was good like that. I mean, the sort of stuff that you guys do in terms of the one-to-one coaching around mannequins, movements, Dean Wilkins used to do a lot of that. It used to be brilliant. So you could do it. You weren't doing it under pressure. So you could really get your technique right. You could get your timings right. But the best manager that I played on would have to be Nigel Pearson as a manager.
Really?
His man management skills were brilliant. So he had a presence about him. Not like a
he's quite a scary man. Like when you watch him on the telly. Yeah, he's quite serious and he's a big bloke. And I always think I wouldn't like to piss him off.
No, he's a big bloke and he's a character, but he's not scary at all. As long as you're respectful to him, and you work hard for him, he'll do it again. He'll do anything for you. It's a trait that you'll come across in football, or good people in football. They'll do anything for you. And he was like that, but he did have a presence. When he spoke, you listened. Mm-hmm. When he walked into a room, in a good way, the atmosphere changed a little bit. And when he watched training, the standard of the training suddenly went up. So we used to, at Leicester, we used to go out and train, and he wouldn't come out probably for the first 20 minutes. And it'd be like warm up boxes, like keep ball small. And you go into just about go into something else. And you'd think the standard's okay, it's all right. And then you'd suddenly see the gaffer and it would just straight away, standard would go up, ball would be popping around, people would be challenges, tackles. He just had that knack of, just like you say, he was a big guy, intimidating guy, but he was quite like gentle in the fact that he was very approachable. You could speak to him, and he was honest. That was the biggest thing. He was honest. He would tell you the truth, and that didn't always happen with managers. You didn't always get told the truth. So, he was I remember one time going into his office. I was at Leicester. And there was another club that wanted to buy me, and I was in and out of Leicester. And I went in to see him, and I was like, literally knocked on the door, walked in. He's like, and I was like, "Oh, Gaffer, can I have a word?" And he just went, "No." I went, "No." I went, "Oh, can I have a word, Gaffer?" He went, "No." He went, "I know what you want," and the answer's no. I went, "What? I've not even asked you yet." He went, "You're not moving, so no." And that was it. But I respected him because he was just like straight, honest, and I was like obviously disappointed because I wanted to have a chat, maybe get in the team at Leicester, obviously, or if I'm not, move on.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you're not going anywhere. Too valuable to the squad. Go and train. I'll see you in 5 minutes. And it was,
so is that how it works then? Say, you know, you've kind of heard something like a team's coming for you. Is it literally going to the manager and having that conversation? Like, is that sometimes how it works?
Sometimes it depends on the relationship you've got with the manager. A lot goes through agents and directors of football and stuff like that. But if you've got a good relationship with the manager, you can go and speak to them and just say, "Look, what's the situation? Do you fancy me as a player? Am I going to play? What role do you see me playing as?" If you can have that conversation with the manager, then that's brilliant. And you could with Nigel. And then if you had a conversation, he would go and speak to the board, or then you'd speak to your... Nigel didn't really deal with the agents and stuff like that. He was a proper football man. He'd have his there was like an assistant manager, Craig Shakespeare.
Oh yeah.
It was fantastic as well. And he had Steve Walsh, who was like his recruitment sort of like coach, but head scouts. He would go through Walsh. He would then speak to the agent and stuff. So Nigel could concentrate on the football. But yeah, it happens in all different ways. But yeah, with Nigel, you could go and speak to him. It was just brilliant. I just knocking on the door and he didn't even look up. Just went no. And I was like,
last one from me. I've got, what is your funniest changing room story?
What that I can tell you. There's loads of stuff that happens, you know, gear getting cut up and, you know, deep heating boxers and stuff like that. But it wasn't necessarily in the dressing room. When I was younger at Brighton, we had obviously talked about that tough group with Danny Cullop, Chippy, Charlie Oatway and stuff. And one thing they used to do, because them players, they ran that football club.
Yeah, I bet.
But they were successful as well, so they could run the football club. And they obviously have respect for the manager. And there's two stories I'd have. When Mickey Adams was the manager, they lost a game. I don't know where they lost away. And where the training ground used to be at Sussex University, I don't know if you've been down there. Yeah. There's like a pond. You have to run to like a pond where there's some houses, which is opposite the Amex now. So you run there and you run around the pond. And Alan Cork was manager. So the boys are running around like the pond and all that. And he's like getting them to run because they've lost and they're knackered from the night before. And the lads have just had enough, picked him up, chucked him in the pond, chucked his bike in the pond. And then I wasn't even there, but we're in the showers like as a youth team. And he comes in, obviously naked, like leaves all over his pants. Leaves all over his head and all that, swearing, didn't say a word to us. Just absolutely going off his head about them. Never found the bike again. That's one story. So that's what the players did. And then the players used to, you know, like you get a circle. So you'd be doing like keep ball. You'd have two in the middle and stuff like that. Yeah. Every now and again, for whatever reason, I don't know if they planned it, like so the coach and the assistant manager would join in. And the manager would join in now and again. And it would just like be popping around and be like, hey, oh, the old lays and all that and all good fun. And then it would go quiet and you'd think, oh no, what's going on here? And then from out of nowhere, they would do something called the bagging. So they'd just jump on one of the assistant manager or the coach and literally beat him up and strip him. And then you just like, and then training would go on and you just see the coach just lose his head and he'd just be, where Sussex University is, there's pitches and we used to train down the bottom. And there's like a pavilion up the top. They'd have to walk all across the pitches naked, just in their boots. and you just see him. Like, and you're either in it, like when I was a pro, you'd see it, or as in a youth team, you'd be looking, going, all right, at the bag someone else. And again, they'd just be under their breath swearing this.
So it's a member of staff that they'll just
Member of staff, mate. Member of staff. Just literally.
Unbelievable.
They would join in and the coach systematic and you'd just go quiet and you'd think, oh no. And all you would be hoping and going, oh, I hope it's not me. I hope it's not me. And then you just like, one of them would jump on Charlie, then Chippy would jump on, then Danny, and they're just like cracking him, not in the face or anything, but in the body, ripping their clothes off. And like, one of the...
How did they choose their victims then? Was this just
It was always
premeditated?
it was always one of the assistant managers or like a youngster.
Okay.
Or something.
Yeah.
It was just the funny bit. They were like not like they were ripping the clothes, so you can't even put them back on.
Yeah.
You just got to walk across all the university pitches up towards
Can you
the
imagine?
pavilion. It's brilliant. It was so funny.
That's
Them
unreal.
sort of things when I was young to go on all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's class. That is.
You wouldn't see that anymore, though, would you? Like Sky Sports News down at Leicester and Vardy's walking back naked.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Probably drinking a Red Bull.
You can't see stuff like that, but
No.
But that group, but they used to win, and part of them winning and being successful was that connection, the relationship they all had. That bond, that team spirit they go on about. It was true there, but they used to do. I don't think they had a lot of respect for the assistant manager and coach. It was
because even though he was getting stripped naked, I bet it brought everyone together.
Yeah,
and everyone it just.
But then, they'd be like moaning at the manager, the assistant manager, and the manager would go, "What do you want me to do? It's 20 laps." Like, he's just happy he's not getting done.
Yeah, brilliant.
Dean, with the cutting gear stuff, did that ever happen to you? Did you ever go into the dressing room and half your trousers are missing or anything like that?
Yeah, a couple of times. But you know what? It's always only when you bought new gear. So like, if you come in and you'd had half a go, or you were going somewhere afterwards with the family or something. It was only when you bought something new, because you obviously get noticed. The lads would go, "Hold on a minute, he's had a go."
Yeah.
Like, we're gonna have to do something here. And you just like, I don't know. If you had a jacket or something, they'd cut the arms off. So you put your jacket and you just come right through, and you're like, it turns into a gilet. You're like, oh, Christ. Or your shoes like cut up. Or the worst one was they wouldn't even get cut up. You'd get your laces and they'd strangle them into about 400 knots. So you could never do anything with them.
Yeah.
You'd have to cut them, and you're sitting there cutting your own trainers, going, "How has it come to this?" But it happened to everyone. It was proper. But there's other lads used to nick other people's phones and like text their girlfriends and text their mum and dads and give them abuse and stuff. Like, honestly, all sorts used to go on. But it brought the lads together.
Yeah.
I mean. There was one time at Southampton where I was talking about Paul Watton, and there's a lad called Papa Wago, and every now and again he would come in just out of normal like a suit, like come into training in a suit, and he'd look unbelievable. Just come in a suit, and the lads were like, every now and again he just chucked a suit on. So we'd ask him, like, is it not very good English? He's just like, I just fancy wearing a suit now and again. Like, I don't go anywhere else. So then he was always getting boots as well. So Paul Watton was like, I'm gonna have to do something about this. And we were like, we can't cut his suit up. That's about, it's about $2,000 suit. You can't cut that up. It's like there's having a laugh and like going too far. So he's like, I'll tell you what I do. So he got his boots. So every time he got his boots, and Papa would be buzzing about new boots. So he'd come in early. His boots were waiting for him on his peg. So he just took his boots out, had a shit in the box, closed it back up, and took the boots off. So Papa's come in and think, oh yeah, my boots, like all in his suit, brilliant. We're all sitting there just all like reading the newspaper, just waiting. He just opened it up. Obviously the smell was horrendous.
Oh God.
And he just went, like, it was just one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Stuff
like that. It's like being at school. When you train, you obviously train ridiculously hard. You're dedicated to your sport, so it all sounds like we're messing around. But you get in at 8:30. You don't train till 10:30. So it's like 2 hours of just having a laugh. But that's what brings the group together.
Yeah, we had that.
Either getting someone naked or pooing in a box.
Yeah.
It's all you can really do.
We had it last week.
I bet it's only like stuff that will go on at university. I bet. Like, I never went to uni, but I could imagine stuff like that goes on at university all the time.
Yeah.
Now we had
Dad said something last week, didn't he?
About who was it? Bradley Dack. Is that his name? Who was on it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Ads was like, he walked into a dressing room and Dack was just there naked, shitting in people's boots. And I was like, it wouldn't happen anywhere else.
No, lads just get bored and go, oh, what can I do? Like, and it's always like someone does something to make someone laugh, and someone else will go, well, I need to get a bigger laugh now.
Yeah.
But there's like, older stories, like way back before I was playing, people like, I think there's a story about Paul Gascoigne nicking the team bus and just driving off with the team bus, like, smashing it up, and like, you know, stuff like that. There's some mental stuff that goes on.
Yeah. Is that all your questions, mate?
Yes, you know me.
Yep. So, Dean, my first question is the best goal you've scored.
Didn't get too many, so this shouldn't take long. Best goal, I'd probably say for Southampton at home against Leeds. First game of the Championship season. We'd just been promoted. I'd actually been ill all week, actually, with food poisoning. So didn't think I was going to play. And then I think Goody DePrado tries to play a ball into Adam Lallana. And for some reason, why I did it, I nicked the ball of Adam, which there's no point doing because I'm trying to get the ball to Adam because he's the player I want to give it to him. So I take it off his feet and I'm like running through the centre of the pitch. It's on my left foot. Would never shoot normally with my left foot. Just shot from about 25 yards. Just flew into the bottom corner. And then obviously kind of ran towards like the Cop End sort of at Southampton.
Yeah.
Full house, 35, 40,000 people there. So yeah, I'd probably say that first goal of the new season.
Was that to make it 1-0?
Make it 1-0. So it was the first goal of being back in the Championship after obviously being in League One with Southampton back up, and we ended up getting promoted that year again. So two promotions in 2 years, which was brilliant. But yeah, scoring that goal was pretty special because just the things you remember about the goals are the celebration or the reaction of the crowd, what it means, and there was a decent reaction of that. Got like mobbed by the players, so good memories of that. Did
you go into that game thinking, cool, imagine if I got the first goal, or were you just kind of relying on maybe the likes of Adam Lallana, or I don't know if Lambert was playing, or people like that, or did you just think?
I never really thought about scoring that much, to be honest. I was just concentrating on doing the other bits of it. But I think I went into the game really relaxed because, like I said, I'd had food poisoning that week. I'd missed the last pre-season game. And usually the team that plays the last pre-season game is
the one that
starts.
Yeah.
But I was ill anyway, didn't start, didn't play, was doing team shape all week, like the Monday, Tuesday, wasn't in it, had Wednesday off, came in Thursday, we just done some tactical play. And then Friday, the manager pulled me and said, I'm going to play you tomorrow. Do you feel all right? I was like, yeah, I'm obviously going to play. I want to play. And felt fine. So I didn't really have the build up to the game. So I didn't go into the game thinking, right, I'm going to try and do this today. I'm going to try and score. But I obviously knew that, like, I had Morgan Snyding didn't play today. I played instead of him. Obviously, the career he's gone on to add. So we had Jack Cork, Richard Chaplow was there. Obviously, Goody DePrado. So, you know, me and Corky started. So I knew I had to have a decent game. And scoring the goal, I was thinking, okay, that means I'll get the next game now, really. So that's what it was always with me. With the squads I play and the quality players I played with, I just thought if I can have a good game, it means I get to play next week. And I just kept my career going like that.
Yeah. So you mentioned earlier as well, I mean, the list of players that you just rattled off earlier was unbelievable. But my next question was, who was the best player you played against?
It's a difficult one, but I'd have to say it was on his day when I played against him was Ozil. Ozil was unbelievable on a different level.
Yeah.
We played Arsenal in the Premier League when I was at Leicester, and we drew 1-1, but it was a tough afternoon, really, really tough. And he played a bit like we spoke about. He played kind of wide. I think he played wide left, but he kept coming centrally. So he obviously kept catching my eye line. He's coming into the centre of the pitch where I'm playing, so I'm going to have to do something about it. But like I say, we get the ball 1-2, pop it off, move. So I'm having to move, and I'm doing like little doggies. And you know how hard it is when you're doing little doggies back in, out to a player, back in, and he's just wearing me out, and he's popping, and then he would turn and run at me and just get away from me. I was like, Jesus Christ, this is something special. Because the week before we played against Chelsea, and I played against Hazard, Fabregas, and felt quite comfortable against them. Felt, no, this is all right. Like, play in front of you. Fabregas is not going to get away from you. He's clever with his passing. But I used to read the game quite well. So players like that, I didn't struggle with. So Fabregas, you could play, like a tip, players, you can always, at some point, when a player has the ball, they're going to tell you where they're going to pass it. At some point. Because I have to look there with their eyes. So I never used to look at the ball. I'd always be watching a player's eyes. So you could always tell what they're going to do. So players that didn't have pace that you had to get close to because if they got a run on you, they get away.
Yeah.
I was fine playing against them sort of players. And Hazard, obviously an unbelievable player, but he used to just rely on using his body. So if you just got your body position in the right position against him, you knew which way he was going to turn. So you could go with him, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But Ozil was, just on a different planet. I think the first 2-3 seasons he had with Arsenal, he was exceptional. So I think he's probably given me my hardest test. I think he was probably the only player I came up against and came off the pitch thinking, shit, that was tough.
Yeah.
Really
I mean, it's a shame what's happened to us. I mean, I'm no Arsenal fan. I'm just, I enjoy a good football when I see one. And with Ozil, I just couldn't believe what happened to him. Like you say, I think I joy to watch in the Prem. I think it suited it down to the ground. But I mean, I definitely couldn't tell you kind of what happened to him. It must have been what was going on off the pitch. But what was his attitude like when you were playing against him? Was it just kind of normal in that sense?
Yeah, he was calm. He wasn't one of those players that's shouting for the ball all the time.
Yeah.
But he's a player that all his teammates are looking to give him the ball. So he doesn't need to call for it. They'll just give it to him. And he was a player that would accept the ball. They're the best players. You watch the best players, they would accept the ball and receive the ball anywhere. Got 5 players around them, just give it to them. Somehow they'll get their body in the way. They'll receive it on the right side. They'll be able to play it off one touch or have a touch and then move it again. And he was one of those players. So if I was playing on his team, if he looked at you, you passed it to him. So he wasn't one of those players that would be running around screaming, yes, give me the ball. He just made really, really clever runs and his movement was really good. So every time he made every movement deliberate. So every time he moved, he could get the ball. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
He didn't waste any energy. He was just top class.
Yeah. So, my final question. We're going to go for a 4-4-2 in this one, Dean, and I just want to hear the best players you played with. So this could be from Brighton.
4-4-2, yeah?
4-4-2, yeah.
Oh, my God.
Bit old school, but...
Tough question.
Start with your keeper, your back four, midfield four, and then
you put me on the spot here. I'm going to miss some players out, but I'd have to go with Kasper Schmeichel in goal. Unbelievable, brilliant. One of how hard he trains as well. Great guy. Loves his football as well. Best kicker you've ever seen. Honestly, out of his hands, he would just swaz it. He's one of those players that in training, you play small-sided games, and goalkeepers are always throwing it.
Yeah.
He'd kick everything. So if there's a 5-yard pass, he'd throw it up and ping it, and he'd bang it into you. And then if you miscontrolled it, he'd look at you and go, and you'd look at him, and he'd just give you that look to go, we'll just improve your touch then, mate. I'm going to smash it into you. If you're not good enough, don't play it. So he was brilliant. So Kasper Schmeichel in goal. But Kelvin Davis at Southampton was good as well. So I probably missed him out. But
he can go on a bench if you want.
I'm going to miss some out here. Centre halves, I'd have to go. Jose Fonte at Southampton.
Yeah,
was brilliant. Really, really good. Again, there'd be a common theme to this. Dedicated. Like he was, his conditioning to start with. I mean, ripped. Honestly.
Yeah.
So his diet, but that wasn't just spending hours in the gym. It was his diet. He was so dedicated to his diet. Didn't really drink. Really monitored his food intake. Trained well. Rested well. Brilliant defender. Read the game well. Aggressive. But he wasn't the biggest. Quite slight.
Yeah.
But good player. I can't. It's so hard to pick because I got Wes Morgan. Obviously, was unbelievable. Won the Premier League. Robert Hoof. Them two together were brilliant. Yeah. Got Matty Upson at Brighton, who was that. I had the 6 months I spent with Matty Upson. I learned so much off him. He was brilliant. So, you're killing me. Yeah, I don't know.
They all listen to this as well, so you are going to disappoint.
I'd have to say, I want to say Matty Upson. I really do.
Well, he scored at a World Cup as well, didn't he?
I know. I'm going to have to say Wayne. I'm going to have to say Wes Morgan, just because he's won the Premier League. Yeah. He's a brilliant captain.
Yeah.
Brilliant on the ball as well. Really, really good. Good character as well. Really good fun on a night out as well, which is good.
Yeah.
So them two centre halves, left back. Again, I'm going to miss some players, but I'm going to have to say Wayne Bridge. Wayne Bridge at Brighton.
Bridger, yeah.
Yeah, he was.
Did you play with him at Southampton or Brighton?
No, Brighton. So a year on loan. When I went back to Brighton on loan, he was there. We had some team at Brighton. We had Bruno at right back. We had Gordon Greer at centre half, Matt Upson at centre half, and Wayne Bridge at left back. I mean, it was some back four. And they could all play football as well. Unbelievable on the ball. I mean, Bruno on the ball, mate, was a joke.
Yeah.
Matt Upson again on the ball was class. Gordon Greer, obviously. And Wayne Bridge, mate, he'd never seen so fit. He always looked like he was... he always played as though he was out of breath.
Yeah.
But he'd sprint everywhere. He'd just sprint. He'd get the ball and he'd run down the line, take about 4 players and cross. It would break and he'd sprint back. And you'd look at him and you think, he looks knackered. But then he'd sprint again. And then he'd just... Class, mate. And what a guy as well. What a guy.
Really? Yeah.
I remember one time he was late for the bus. Or he got the timings wrong for the bus and we had to take a detour and get him from another services. And he knew he was late and he just came on with a bottle of champagne and a massive box of chocolates for everyone and just said, look, really sorry, lads.
Unreal.
You know, the top players are disciplined and they know they'll only get to the top because they discipline themselves. So they knew how much it meant to the manager and the players for not being on time, if that makes sense. You know, we've run off course now. If we get to the hotel late, dinner might be late and then we lose.
Yeah.
He was like, look, I apologise, hold my hands up. There you go. And it was class, mate. He's just top bloke. And again, mate, another player in ridiculous condition.
Yeah.
So that's my back four, I suppose. Midfield... I mean, Jesus Christ.
Put yourself in there.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Put yourself in there.
Do you know what? I can't put myself in there. I wouldn't be doing it justice if I put myself in there. I'll tell you what, I'll be manager. Right. I'm going to have to go Riyad Mahrez.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Class again. Needed his own ball in training at times, but brilliant player. Really, really was. So strong as well. You see him, he's skinny, really slight, but you try and push him off the ball, really, really strong on the ball. But yeah, a wand of a left foot. Just take players on for fun. Really, really did. Nice guy. Loved his football. He one of those. So at Leicester, we had the training ground. He would train. Loved training. If training wasn't good, he would moan because he loved it so much. If he had the game, he'd want to win. He'd be taking players on. And then we come in, you'd be knackered from training. And then there was you come into the training ground and there's obviously a massive building. There's a massive gym area with an indoor bit. And he'd come in and he'd just be playing head tennis for another 2 hours with the young boys. Yeah. In his flip-flops or his socks. He'd be like, Riyad, you need to eat, mate. You need to prepare. Sam, I'm just going to play a bit more. And the young boys used to love it.
Yeah, of course.
He just loved his football, mate. Loved his football.
What a player.
Yeah, mate, what a player.
Yeah.
Centre mid, again, hard to choose, but I think for the career he had and the man he was, I'd have to say Esteban Cambiasso.
Oh, God.
He was some player, man. Obviously, he came to Leicester at the end of his career, but yeah.
I bet he just had so much about him, considering what he's done.
So much, mate. Just his vision. You know, wasn't the quickest, wasn't the strongest, but his vision, read the game on and off the ball. His passing ability was brilliant. Wasn't the best trainer in the world. Saved it for match day. But not as in he was a bad trainer on the ball, just saved his energy, really. But yeah, he was fantastic. That year he had at Leicester.
Because that kind of came out of nowhere. That I remember seeing that and thinking, what?
Well, when we heard the rumours, because obviously players, you hear rumours, you hear it at first, and we were like, nah, never going to happen. But and then you comes in the dressing room, you're thinking, is he here for the money sort of thing? Is he just, one more year? But no, proper at it. Didn't speak that much English. By the end, he was fluent. Would lead team meetings sometimes. Would have something to say. On a match day, brilliant. Honestly, he was class. I really enjoyed playing with him. But yeah, really good guy as well. And love football. Yeah. You'd sit down, that's it. You're not talking about anything else, just football. Nothing else mattered in the world. And then playing alongside him, it's a tough one because Danny Drinkwater was some player. Morgan Schneiderlin was a top player, but I'd have to say Kante. Kante, that.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Them two. Can you see why I can't get in the team now?
Yeah, well. Yeah, I didn't mean it like that, like, you ain't got no chance.
But, mate, he was... When he first come in, like, obviously he come from a second division French team.
Yeah.
So we were thinking, just one for the future. Came in, like, quite, like, a small stature. Happiest person you've ever met. Smiled all the time. Again, didn't speak much English. Really, really polite. But on the pitch, mate, terrier. Honestly, his pace, his the quickness to win the ball back was a joke, mate. It was like playing with three in the centre midfield with just him and one other. He was fantastic, mate. And he used to drive through the middle of the pitch with the runs. But yeah, he was brilliant. Really, really good. And then left wing, I'd have to say, I'd have to give Vicente a mention that played at Brighton, but he wouldn't quite make it because I didn't play with him enough, to be honest. So I'd have to say Adam Lallana. Adam Lallana was amazing. Probably the most gifted player I played with. You know, and we were talking about I played with some good players, but he was the most gifted player. Just both feet. He's the best player I've ever seen that does a Cruyff with both feet. Yeah. And he just swivels. He turns his body around so quick. But yeah, again, another trait, works so hard in training. You know, the most talented player I've seen, but probably one of the most hard-working players I've seen as well. Would ask questions of the coaches, you know, like you boys are coach and stuff. He would ask questions of the coaches. Well, what can I do better? Where do I need to improve? What areas could I get in? He would just find pockets of space, but he worked on it. So he was brilliant, really, really good. Yeah. And then centre forwards, Jesus Christ, how am I going to pick these? Jamie Vardy, obviously. I'd have to pick Vardy. Yeah. I mean, I don't even need to speak about him. The picture itself, just rapid, nice guy, really good player as well, aggressive. You wouldn't want to play against him. I mean, playing against him in training, he was aggressive as well. Just a brilliant player and really good finisher. Like I don't think he quite gets the credit for his finishing. His finishing's top drawer. He doesn't need too many chances to score, especially when he goes 1-on-1. He doesn't miss many chances. He's just really. But yeah, nice guy. And then I'd have to say Ricky Lambert. Okay. Just because what he did at Southampton. Yeah. Unbelievable, mate. I mean, I've never seen anyone strike the ball so true. He hit the ball so hard. Free kicks, headers, scored all types of goals. Loved the drinks. He was good on the night out. Good lad. He looks like I could put him away, to be fair. Oh, mate. On and off the pitch. Oh, you wouldn't believe. Like you wouldn't believe. I've had some great nights with him, I must admit. Yeah. But yeah, brilliant player. Really intelligent player. You know, really intelligent. Once he got himself... At Southampton, he got himself really fit. Coming from Bristol Rovers, I think the club paid £1 million for him, which is a lot of money in League One. Yeah. And I think he scored like 19, 20 goals at Bristol Rovers for the last 2 or 3 seasons. But he came to Southampton and got himself really fit and ended up getting 30. We got promoted. But yeah, brilliant player, mate. So, and I'm sure like David Nugent was the Sun player as well. Leo Joe was Sun player. Billy Sharp was brilliant. Oh, yeah. Trying to think, that's Bobby Zamora, again, really, really good. Leon Knight, mate. Oh, my God. What a player. Do you know what? I thought he was going to get mentioned last week for worst trainer with ads. No. Because honestly, I've heard a few stories about him. Just, you know, you hear them, but... Not at all. One of the best trainers. One of the best trainers. Look, he didn't... Coming towards the end of like Brighton, he probably drunk a little bit more than he needed to. Yeah. Nah. Love training. One of the best trainers are usually the ones that moan the most. Yeah, they want to win and they want everything done right. If you do it right, they won't moan. But if like, a referee gets it something wrong or whatever, Leon Knight was brilliant. Honestly, and when he first came, I think he came on loan from Chelsea. We're in League One. He was in shape. He was lightning, mate. He was proper hot, like top player, both feet again. I don't know if you'd ask him. You'd have to ask him yourself, but I think he could have done a little bit more with his career, but he was one of the best players I played with. Honestly, Top draw. Really, really good.
That's a hell of a team, by the way, Dean. Unbelievable.
I wouldn't mind. Wow, I wouldn't mind managing them. I must.
Yeah.
Hell of a team. Dean, just before we bring this to an end, I've got a few questions from a few listeners. The first question I've got here is, who is your favourite player to watch across the big leagues? So obviously La Liga, Prem, Bundesliga, anything like that. Who's the most exciting player that you enjoy watching the most?
As in now? As in watching now?
Yeah, now, yeah.
Probably Kevin De Bruyne. I mean, he's a brilliant player, really is. I mean, he makes the game look so easy, and again works hard. He works really, really hard off the ball to receive the ball. I think that's one thing that people miss. He's sitting on the ball all the time. You think, how do they keep getting on the ball when they work so hard to get on the ball? And I will just watch him playing because he's progressive. He's always trying to play forward. He might not be able to. He's always trying to create something. He's always trying to produce an end product. And he's just, he's got to be one of the best players in the world at the moment. You know, obviously Messi and Ronaldo, everyone loves watching them, but they're coming towards the end now. They're still brilliant. But Kevin De Bruyne, I think, is the best player at the moment.
Yeah. Good answers. He's top player. Final question, mate. I've got here, I think it's from a young fan. He's put, if you...
Not beige, is it?
Yeah, he's been quiet and he's been sending me some... I've got here, if you were to reach a World Cup final and it went to sudden death penalties, would you take a penalty to win?
Oh, mate, what a question. Oh, to win. Do you know what? I would. Because one, I think if you didn't, you'd always be known as a player that didn't, which is worse than missing, I think. But no, I would, because my penalty record's all right, you know. I used to take penalties at Brighton when I only missed one.
What is the record?
I think it's 9 out of 10.
That's all right.
Yeah, 9 out of 10. So.
In training.
Yeah. Do you know what? Mark McGee used to have me practicing penalties all the time. And he was like, right, you're going to take penalties now. And I'm like, okay, I've never taken penalties in my life, but okay. And he's right, what you're going to do is you're going to tell the keeper where you're going to put it. The keeper can't go and stand there, obviously, but you're going to tell him where you put it, and he's got to dive, and you've got to put it so far in the corner that obviously when the keeper doesn't know when you're going to put it, you'll score. And I just used to practice it all the time. That's
not a bad way of doing it, is it?
Because you used to try and go for the top corners. Like you're risking it, but you just got so used to doing it, and the keeper's obviously going quite early that I had to hit it so true that, I think I would take a penalty, you know, and just if you missed it, obviously your life's over. But if you score it, mate, you've just made yourself in you forever. So
you got to take it.
I'd roll the dice. I'd roll the dice and go for
little dink down the middle.
I don't know about that. I think you get shot if you've done that. No?
Oh, well, listen, Dean, I really, really appreciate you coming on and chatting to us today. It's been a great insight into, obviously, yourself, life in the pro game. Obviously, we've had some funny stories and stuff, which is what we're all about, really. We love hearing those sort of things. How we usually bring the poddy to an end is we usually get Beige to down his drink.
Now,
last week, he had a bottle of your finest gin.
I still got it.
He downed a bottle of gin? No way.
No,
he's been doing it all week.
I mean, that was a full bottle, Dean. Was it Friday? Yeah, last week.
Yeah.
It shows how much is left, Lou.
This is what happens when kids aren't in college.
Oh, mate. Jesus. A bottle of gin, yeah?
Yes, expensive bottle as well.
Oh, wow.
Fucking animal, the kid. So what we used to do, Dean, we get him to down his drink or do a shot or whatever he's got, bring the poddy to an end. I mean, he hasn't got that much left, does he? I don't know if we should encourage him.
I think he's just got to see that off.
I'm not finishing it.
Shut up, baby.
How much is
See it off.
I reckon it's like 2 shots.
Oh, yeah, you can see that off.
Yeah, you can easily do that, Luke.
I guess Dean said it. Come on, mate.
Oh, all right.
Come on, mate. He'll be all right.
Out of the bottle as well again, yeah? Love it. Boys, cheers. And before he does it, cheers. Appreciate that.
Cheers. Yeah, thank you, Dean.
What are you drinking? Are you drinking Guinness?
Yeah, I'm on a Guinness. Yeah.
On the Guinness. And what you got?
I'm on the Bud Light because
Bud Light, yeah, nice.
I was watching the Super Bowl the other night, so I really got in the swing of things with a Bud Light. Have you done it yet, Paige?
No, I'll do it.
All the best, Luke.
Imagine he just falls off the back of his chair. You done it?
Oh, wow. Oh, there's a little bit left.
Yeah, there is a little bit left, to be fair. What's that? Are you saving it for next week?
Yeah, mate.
Yeah.
Well, that's strong.
Brilliant.
That's what you get when you buy petrol out of a bottle.
Oh, wow. No, not for me.
Oh. Well, listen, Dean. It's been brilliant, mate. Thanks so much for coming on. I hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, stay safe. And hopefully, once we're back to recording normally, we'll get you back on. And yeah, we'll see how things go.
Cheers, guys.
Dean.
Nice to see you
Thanks, mate.
Brilliant, mate.
Look after yourself.
See
See you later.
Thanks,
Bye,
Dean.
mate.